So I started questioning the death penalty. My third electrocution there at Florida State Prison was a nightmare that none of you ever want to experience. We had the man strapped into the electric chair and we were about to put him to death, and I'd ask him if he had any last words, and his last words were, I am still innocent. His name was Pedro Medina. He was a Marielito Cuban who'd come over on the boat lift in 1982 from one of Fidel Castro's ugly prisons, where he had spent most of his life in prison. He was literally raised on the streets of Havana as a homeless child, a member of one of the little street gangs. But now he was on death row at Florida State Prison. I watched the electrician reach into the bucket and get the natural sponge and squeeze it. And I'd learned enough about electrocutions by this time to know that you must leave quite a bit of the saline solution in the sponge. And I asked his boss, I said, Carl, did he leave enough water in that sponge? He said, yeah, boss, we're fine. We're ready to go. All right. I couldn't question this man. He had worked 25, 30 electrocutions there at Florida State Prison. Should know what he's doing. But after I gave the executioner the secret nod to apply the electricity, there was an immediate pop. And anyone who knows anything about electricity knows when you hear a pop, something's wrong. Following the pop, the warden stands about 3 feet from the electric chair on a rubber pad. A flame dipped down out of the copper helmet right up in front of my face. His head was on fire. The sponge was burning. We literally cooked this man to death. It was the ugliest scene I'd ever seen. I've seen a lot of dead bodies in my time, but I've never seen anything as ghastly as this. The governor fired me and hired me back twice in that same day, and then 3 days later told me he had made arrangements with Governor Bush to send me down to Huntsville, Texas, to study lethal injections, to learn all of that knowledge and bring it back to Florida, to buy all the equipment and get us set up for lethal injections, because he felt the legislature would never allow us to do another electrocution in Florida. I did, and I worked 5 lethal injections in Texas. I didn't find lethal injections any prettier. And the governor told me that, in fact, one time, over the phone. Make this pretty, Ron. Don't F this up. Make it pretty. Pressing me all over me again. He was worried about his political career. And we're talking about killing another human being in the most premeditated, thought out, calculated, scrutinized killing on earth. Nowhere on earth is anyone arrested, investigated, tried, retried, appealed, and reappealed. We just keep punishing the families of the victims year after year with the appeals. And then finally we have this big ceremony with all the satellite dishes across the street from the prison. 13 official members of the media sitting in the witness room with 13 citizens. And we just put this stuff out through all the media. And it's normally, did you ever notice that we have more executions before elections? It's because politicians have figured out somewhere along the line that better than 60%, or at least in years past, of the population supports the death penalty. So why not go for the 60 instead of the 40? started having some problems. Couldn't sleep very well. My wife got very concerned. She wanted me to go see a shrink. I'd never had very much respect for people in the mental health field. I didn't think that they knew what they were doing, quite frankly. I thought that they just catered to rich women that didn't have anything better to do with their money to lay on somebody's couch. But my situation started getting pretty bad. When you're averaging an hour and a half sleep every night, it starts to work on you physically. Stress is a horrible thing for the human body. You got these dead men coming and sitting on the edge of your bed at night, looking at you and asking you why. It brought me full circle with myself as a human being and with myself as a man of faith. I had to renew my faith, and I had to renew myself as a human being. And in the process of doing that, it was not a bolt of lightning. It was a very slow process, but when it finally happened, Ron McAndrew woke up one morning and said, "Buddy, there is no way you'll ever support the death penalty again as long as you live. In fact, if you have the opportunity, you're going to speak out against it."